Now it is quite apparent that the next big device after the home computer and the smartphone are AR or smart glasses. And we've been reading about these rumors in the last couple of years all the time, and then at some point Snapchat came out with their spectacle glasses, which were kind of the first one that combined not only integrated artificial intelligence but also augmented reality and actually allowed for pretty cool stuff. Like you see here, for example, on giving you a cooking recipe based on whatever you have on your table and then giving live instructions on what to do. But this spectacles here has been a developer demo that you could only get when you would actually be in a developer program, and you could also not buy it, but you would have to pay a monthly rent. But on the horizon, there are not only one, but actually several pretty interesting smart glasses that will be not only lightweight like a normal sunglass, but actually have amazing features and capabilities in between augmented reality and artificial intelligence. And in this video, I want to quickly go through the current rumors and take a look on when we can expect the first smart glasses from which company. And of course, we have to define what actually smart glasses are. And for example, there are already some smart glasses by Ray-Ban and Meta, and those do have cameras and they usually can play music or sound somewhere here. And they also do have voice control in some parts, but they don't have any kind of display or visualization. And also, I would say kind of the capabilities they have are more on the simpler side, let's say. Maybe they need to definitely connect to the internet and will probably use kind of web calls, web API calls, and they will not do a whole lot of on-device processing. And what I'm rather looking at and want to talk about right now is to have a device like the spectacles from Snapchat that has kind of the full on-device processing power that, for example, is close to what a smartphone can achieve, and that also is able to do visualizations, because this is the best way, I would say, to actually also interact with these smart glasses. And it can be definitely more convenient than having to talk all the time, but that of course depends on what you're currently doing. So yeah, talking of Snap AR, they have only recently announced their new lightweight immersive spectacles, which are coming in 2026. And according to TechCrunch, these specs will be kind of the same augmented reality and AI capable glasses that the current Spectacles 5 are, but they will be even smaller and lighter. So this is definitely what we need. This is definitely needed for some smart glasses to become mainstream capable. Because right now I've tested the specs in the past and they are very great, they're amazing, but they're still too chunky, too heavy. You wouldn't wear them in public. But in terms of their capabilities, they're already pretty good. What was also a bit disappointing, it was the field of view, because you only had like a small square in the middle of your eye, basically, that would show the 3D graphics. So if they manage to increase the field of view while keeping a small and light form factor with on-device capabilities for AR and AI, this will definitely be a success. But of course, it will also be very much depending on the software and kind of the integration, because people will want to use those smart glasses in conjunction with their phones, with their laptops. And this is where other companies might have a bigger advantage here. But of course, Snap AR can create certain bridge softwares that will make it easier then to have a full integration in between all of these devices. But let's move on and let's talk about Meta actually. And there have been some rumors about different kind of smart glasses, and of course Meta has also been always pushing in that regards. But earlier they've been more concentrated on their Meta Quest, VR, MR headsets. But now it seems that smart glasses are the new major priority within electronic devices. And there has been rumors about a pair of glasses that was called Hypernova. And this is supposedly coming out or being already announced, I think, this year. So let's have a quick look at that. So it's supposed to be between 1,000 and 1,400 US dollars, which is, yeah, not on the super high end, but already quite expensive, of course. And it's only supposed to have a display at the bottom right corner. So it will probably not have the best kind of field of view and most spatial content. As for that, you would probably need to have two displays, otherwise it will be harder to perceive depth. But it will definitely be able to, for example, visualize a web browser or something like navigation, let's say. So we'll already be able to do some stuff, maybe a keyboard or something like that, with a successor in 2027, but we're going to talk about that later. So this could be interesting, but at least in regards to these rumors here, I would think that this might be a kind of Meta Ray-Ban on steroids, so pretty much similar to what the Ray-Bans do, or here the Oakleys. So normal sunglasses with cameras and microphones, plus kind of a bottom display which will be able to show you some kind of information, but not will be fully featured 3D augmented reality like the specs, which we don't know, by the way, on how much they will cost. So if they will be the same price, they would probably offer a lot more, but we shall see. I guess Meta will not offer a similar price product which will have much less functionality. So we'll see how that will go. But then of course there's also the big smart glasses from Meta, which are supposed to come in 2027, where I would guess from what I've read in the past, most of the actual smart glasses are supposed to launch, so about 2 more years. Until we'll see them, which are based on kind of the Orion glasses that have been presented, I think it was about a year ago or so, which they revealed in one of their developer presentations or reveals. So this seems to have the code name Meta Celeste, which would be Meta's next AR glasses. And they're also, of course, working on these wristbands, which I think we also have some stuff here. Let's see. Yeah, so these wristbands here are supposed to basically just sit here and kind of recognize your movements with your hands, and therefore make it easier to actually control the AR content. So this could actually be a game changer, because controlling 3D graphics just with your hands and fingers, having no haptical feedback is not always that great, and having some kind of wristband could definitely make this a lot better of a user experience. But nevertheless, they are supposed to be released in 2027. And some of the functionalities have already been leaked, so this seems to be kind of a capture button here to start recording videos. And there are also some of these gestures which are supposed to be recognized by the wristbands, and therefore make it easier to control it. And these kind of smart glasses, they are actually supposed to have kind of the full AR capabilities that you would also expect from the specs. So being able to also fully interact with the 3D objects around you, and therefore having kind of another interface on how to interact with the glasses. And so this is the Orion prototype, I guess, and I would think that Meta's 2027 AR glasses will probably look very similar to this, so having the wristband, and maybe they manage to make the glasses even a bit lighter and reduce the form factor. But I would say that kind of this form factor would already be okay for many people. For me, it would definitely be okay, and I would probably also wear it at some point in the public. I would think that it is on the edge of being something that people would wear, but it's definitely going to be quite exciting. But here also the question, the same question that we already had with the specs: how's the software integration gonna be? And I guess since Meta also owns, of course, Instagram and WhatsApp, they're going to be able to have better integration into things that are important to people, such as messaging and FaceTiming with their friends and family. And so they probably have some better cards in this regard compared to the spectacles. And privacy is going to be a big point for these glasses, which have so many cameras and will always be on your face depending on how often and when you will wear them, and you will probably record other people as well while running through the city. So this is going to be probably a bigger debate, which I think is very important as well. I also wouldn't feel comfortable if I would have the feeling that other people are recording me all the time. So yeah, there are always downsides, of course, to these new technologies, but on the other hand, they also offer much value. So then, of course, there's Google, and funny enough, we have kind of, I would say, the other perspective within Google, that they are pretty good with software. They released Android XR as kind of a OS which will run on future smart glasses and XR headsets, but they seem to have more of a difficulty about providing the hardware. There was, I think, the Project Muhan from Samsung, which you can see, I guess this one is it over here. And this one is more something like the Meta Quest Pro, so a VR and AR headset actually. And Google does actually have a track record of doing pretty good software. And they also do have the integration with, for example, your smartphone, your contacts, photos, Google Maps, YouTube, and all of that, which will make using smart glasses even a lot more smarter and a lot more useful. But they seem to have rather cooperations with companies like Samsung and like Xreal, which also kind of announced their cooperation with Android XR, and then will allow you to basically have these kind of smart glasses, which will, as far as I'm concerned, see the day of light in 2026, as reported by Chrome Unboxed. I think this is here. So the consumer version of the X-ray glasses and the Muhan headset are likely to hit shelves until 2026 at the earliest. So we'll always see if there are any further delays. And we'll, of course, always have to wait on the actual capabilities. Once again, there already are some kind of smart glasses like the Meta Ray-Bans, for example, which are, however, mostly driven by voice and audio, so they will simply then connect to some kind of cloud LLM to process your data, which can already be a pretty cool experience, but are not kind of the fully fledged smart glasses that I would like to see and use in my day-to-day life. So then, of course, there's one final big elephant in the room, and this is Apple. And we already, of course, have the Vision Pro, which is a very different device, a XR headset, but they seem also to be working on some kind of lightweight smart AR glasses. And as I already know Apple, or as we know Apple, they are never really the first one to do something. They want to do it perfect and have the perfect integration. And so, according to Mac Rumors and Bloomberg, they seem to target a mass production or maybe a release for 2026 or 2027. And if you would ask me, I would guess that it will more likely be 2027, and they will come out with one fully fledged smart glasses that have probably an fully AR capable and capable of portraying 3D objects. They will probably have some kind of custom silicon in there, probably Apple Intelligence that can also run on device locally for increased privacy, of course. And here we also have to definitely wait for some kind of more rumors in that regards. I guess what might be interesting is on the synergy in between iPhones and Macs. So the Vision Pro, for example, is currently running with some kind of external battery. And will the smart glasses also have that, or will they have everything integrated, such as the specs or the spectacles? Or maybe will they even be able to take the processing power from something like the iPhone or a MacBook, for example, which would allow it to be even more lightweight and have less problems with heat and with thermals, for example. These are all things that we still have to wait for. Apparently, there have been prototypes for kind of all of these approaches. But it will definitely be cool to have a device on the one hand that has all the processing power on device. Of course, this would be quite amazing, and you would probably have this feeling of being, free and just running around wherever you want, going with your smart glasses. But then on the other hand, in terms of capabilities, being able to connect it, for example, via USB-C to your iPhone at least, or your iPad, let's say, and taking kind of the processing power would definitely enable it to probably have kind of the most capable features, at least in terms of AI and kind of 3D graphics. So we'll have to see what's up for that. Alright, so in a nutshell, I think based on these rumors or maybe even announcement, we can definitely say that next year we're gonna have the first fully fledged smart glasses, probably by Snap AR with the specs, and I'm pretty excited for them. I've already tried out the spectacles and they are super promising. So having something that might be a little cheaper, more accessible, but still having and lightweight while still having these AI and AR capabilities will be extremely amazing, and I'm definitely ready to test out them and share my thoughts and finding with you all. And then of course we do have Meta, which we're probably also going to see something maybe already this year, but there's definitely the question on if that is going to be really that kind of fully fledged smart glasses that we would expect, or if it's just minorly improved Meta Ray-Ban, let's say, with a little bit of visualization. And I would say that probably for Google and Apple, we're gonna see something that I would say either on the later 2026 or maybe even 2027. For Apple, I would say probably rather 2027. But at least these devices are on the horizon, and we are very close to the kind of spatial revolution where we're going to kind of transition, or rather add another device that is going to allow for spatial interaction in the future. I don't think necessarily that either laptops nor smartphones are completely going away, but we're kind of adding another device that we're going to use for specific purposes, and then for other purposes we're going to use other devices. However, I would say that probably at some point maybe a smart glass in combination with a smartphone could probably replace some kind of laptop or iPad or these kind of computing devices for consumers, as it might use just a very powerful processing power of the smartphone to kind of do all these tasks that maybe regular people would do, something like browsing the web or using Office apps and all of that. I would definitely say that this could probably be the case, and that something like laptops and computers, standalone computers, are rather going to be for more professional use cases. Alright, but that's it for this video. Enough talk for today. I really want to know what you guys think about these current developments and what kind of AR smart glasses you are excited to see and test out. So let's discuss in the comments, and until then, as always, thanks a lot for watching and see you next time.